Hey, folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It's Monday, October 20th. The Pittsburgh Steelers, no bonus day practice today. They're off, but we will get an open locker room, so we'll head to the south side a little bit later today. Try to talk to some members of the team a few days after their Week 7 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals and ahead of next Sunday's big showdown with the Green Bay Packers, which will now loom large as the Steelers enter what appears to be a very difficult stretch of their schedule with games against the resurgent Packers, Los Angeles Chargers, and Indianapolis Colts. Didn't necessarily look that daunting at the start of the season. Looks difficult now. So I want to talk about something bigger picture, though, and that's Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. We've talked a lot on this podcast and on Afternoon Drive about how the Steelers seem to be focused on drafting a quarterback in the 2026 NFL Draft. And Smitty and I have also brought up our trepidation at Arthur Smith being the person to develop that quarterback. He has not really done it from draft to success at the NFL level. He was also not a quarterbacks coach before he was an offensive coordinator, came up working with offensive linemen and tight ends. Doesn't seem like the quarterback guru type. Was hired by the Steelers, mostly from his success with the Titans, where he ran a rushing first offense with a great offensive line and Derrick Henry, and didn't have a lot of success with the Atlanta Falcons when he tried to develop Desmond Ridder into a quarterback. Now, Desmond Ridder's had no success, and that actually hasn't played at all since he left Atlanta. But I wanted to look at a different trend because something else has happened since Arthur Smith has come to Pittsburgh that maybe should be changing our mind about whether or not he is the right guy to develop a quarterback. And that's what's happened to his quarterbacks since they left Pittsburgh. Arthur Smith had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields as his quarterbacks last year. They both moved on to different teams in free agency this offseason. Fields to the Jets, Wilson to the Giants. Fields got a very good contract, $30 million guaranteed, was supposed to be the Jets quarterback for this season and next season, has been benched just 7 games into the 2025 season, 6 games for Fields, and got benched for Tyrod Taylor at halftime on Sunday. The Jets will be on the hook for a $22 million dead cap hit if they move on from Fields after this season. Seems like that was a very poor decision. And when you look at the numbers, it's really, really eye-opening. Justin Fields, in his 3 seasons with the Chicago Bears, had an 82.3 passer rating, 31.4 QBR, and a 4.77 adjusted net yards per attempt. With the Steelers, 93.3, 47.4, and 5.86 up across the board. This season with the Jets, 91-1, 36-5, 482. The same thing happened to Russell Wilson, who had obviously great seasons of his career with the Seattle Seahawks, but a significant downturn over the previous 2 years with the Denver Broncos. Was better than he was with the Broncos with the Steelers, and now worse than he was with the New York Giants. Aaron Rodgers, obviously a 4-time MVP, great player, but his final season in Green Bay and his season plus a quarter in New York, not very good. And now having a resurgence with the Pittsburgh Steelers, 4 touchdowns on Thursday night to bring his passer rating over 100 for the first time since 2021. And you look at Ryan Tannehill, the player who was quarterback when Arthur Smith first became offensive coordinator. Well, he wasn't, but he was shortly after in Tennessee. An 11-year career, former first-round draft pick. The best 2 seasons of his entire career came with Arthur Smith as his offensive coordinator. In Atlanta, he had Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, and Marcus Mariota as his starters, none of which have been given a starting job since. And he had the next to last year of Matt Ryan's career, which went predictably. Okay, but not great and not better than Ryan had been. And then he retired a year later. I'm not saying Arthur Smith is Kevin O'Connell or Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay, someone like that. But he does seem to get the best out of his quarterbacks. And I think furthermore, his scheme seems to do a good job of both minimizing the importance of the quarterback and maximizing the abilities of the quarterback. Justin Fields is nothing like Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they could not possibly be more different players at this stage of their career. The only similarity between what happened to Justin Fields last year and what's happening to Aaron Rodgers this year is Arthur Smith. And the fact that he was able to do it with widely divergent skill sets, players at totally different parts of their career, I do think should give some optimism for his ability to take a rookie in the first round next year and mold him into, like, I'm not saying he's going to get the absolute most out of him, but I don't think there should be this trepidation about having Arthur Smith be the guy to develop a young quarterback. Of course, that may be putting the cart before the horse, because if Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers continue to have success at this rate, I get a feeling Arthur Smith isn't going to be here for the Steelers next year anyway. I think he'll be back in a head coaching capacity. All right, that's all I got for this morning. We'll have me and Smitty on Afternoon Drive just about 6 o'clock, as always. More from the Steelers locker room coming up later. Until then, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.